Welcome to the Cardiovascular Pulse, where we explore real patient stories, expert insights, and the latest advances in heart and vascular care. Each episode is designed to help you better understand your risk factors, recognize early warning signs, and take steps toward lifelong cardiovascular health. Join us as we explore what to look for and how small changes today can lead to a healthier tomorrow. Hi listeners, today's episode is a really special one. Joining me today is Fred Cavan, who experienced a heart valve issue that affected his day-to-day life and activities, but thankfully he's doing much better today, and we're going to walk through his story today. And I'm also joined with Dr. Philip Smith, interventional cardiologist at Cardiovascular Institute of the South in Baton Rouge and Zachary, Louisiana, who specializes in treating structural heart and valve disease. Thank you both for being here today, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Privilege.
Awesome. Well, Fred, we'll start with you because your story is really what brings us here today. Can you take us back to the beginning? We'll start from there, when you first started to notice something was off, and how that journey led you to meet Dr. Smith.
Well, 12 years ago, I had open heart, had a quadruple bypass. The doctor told me when it was over with it would last about 10 years, it'd be good, said on average. Well, 10 years to the month, I had a heart attack. I don't remember the date, but it was 10 years to the month I had the heart attack. I came to Baton Rouge. They put a stent and a valve in me. I went back for a follow-up, and I told the doctor, I said, something's wrong. He said, I'll see you in 6 months. I said, something's wrong. He said, I'll see you in 6 months. I said, no, sir. You won't see me in 6 months. I'll either be dead or somewhere else. Well, I left there and went to my primary doctor, and he sent me down here, and as soon as I got here, Dr. Smith caught it and repaired it. And now I feel like my mind tells me I'm 60 years old, but my body don't agree with that. He gives me trouble. But I think it's a great place. Dr. Smith's a good doctor. He's a sincere doctor. He's serious. I know that because I pulled a joke on him one time, and I regret it every day since then, because I never heard it like that again. And everybody down here is so nice, but it was 2 nurses that worked for him. I called them my angels. They couldn't have treated me no better than they did their immediate family.
Yeah. So how do you feel much better today compared to before treatment?
Oh, good. I tell you what, my pulse rate was down to 42.
Wow.
And when he fixed that valve, it just a matter of hours I could tell the difference.
Really? Hours after the procedure, you could tell the difference, and you felt great since, you said.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember whenever you received your diagnosis with Dr. Smith and how you felt? And like, you had a paravalvular leak, correct? Yeah.
I don't remember a whole lot about it. My short-term memory's not good anymore. Yeah. Now, I can tell you what happened in the 50s and the 60s and all through there, but 3 months ago, I can't remember nothing.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is I felt a lot better when it was over with.
Oh, my goodness.
But
wow.
it got to the point to where my heart was beating so slow that I was just drained.
Really?
Yeah.
You felt so drained after any kind of activity, movement?
I just felt bad sitting still, you know.
Wow.
I remember that, Mr. Cavan. It was just the way you described it is exactly how I remember it. In that, most people, so Dr. Cavan, we'll just back up. You got a valve replacement, right? You had a TAVR done by another cardiologist in town. And most folks after the TAVR, they turn around immediately. Like within a week, they can tell a difference. Their breathing gets better, their energy levels are better, and they just feel better. But that was not you, right? You just continued to dwindle. Yeah. And I remember you even went and bought a rollator at one point because you were just getting your functional status was getting worse and worse, that you were like, I need a rollator now, and just things were getting worse and worse. And so there's an old adage in medicine that the patient is telling you the diagnosis, right? And you were telling, like you said, you were saying something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. And so yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, just you were certain something was wrong. And when the patient's telling you something with that much certainty and confidence, usually they're correct. And so you had to hit the nail on the head. You know, Mr. Cavan's valve wasn't functioning totally appropriately without, you know, losing the force for the trees. But he basically had a little leak on the outside of the valve that was put in. Mm-hmm. And so what we did was a minimally invasive procedure where we went through the groin up to your heart and put a little plug in that spot that was leaking and sealed the leak. And so, like he was saying, I mean, it was like we flipped a switch on him. I mean,
It's a matter of hours. I could feel it. Once I come back to, they tell me they're gonna give me the twilight. They don't give me one drop, knock me out good. But when I come back to, I could tell the difference already.
So your blood pressure is controlled today too, because with Dr. Smith's care and yourself as well. Yeah, you feel better?
Adjustment of the medicine. One thing I like about Dr. Smith and my primary doctor is that when you go in the room, the first thing you say, how you doing? And they'll sit there and listen till you get through. They won't try to butt in like a lot of people will.
Right.
And tell me what to do before I tell them what's going on. He'll sit there and listen to what I got to say, and then he tells me what I need to do.
Exactly.
And that's one
awesome.
thing. I got faith in both of them, and I do exactly as they say. So there's no need in going to a doctor if you're not going to pay attention to what he says.
Can we go back and backtrack through what exactly paravalvular leaks are, and are they relatively common, and what are some warning signs that you can look out for?
Yeah, so significant perivalvular leak like Mr. Fred had is it's uncommon these days with the latest valve technology. We're talking maybe 1% to 2% of folks have what you had, and so you were just one of the unlucky ones, right? And so the problem that Mr. Fred had is after the new valve is put in, there's a leak on the outside of the valve. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is a large proportion of the blood that leaves the heart flows right back into the heart through that leak. And so it leads to symptoms that Mr. Fred had, kind of shortness of breath, fatigue, just not feeling better after the valve is replaced. And so, yeah, pretty uncommon.
I'd like to correct you. You said I was one of the unlucky ones. I was the lucky one. I come here.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was so pleased with how you did. I mean, you were a trooper every step of the way, joking the whole way, like you said when we first sat down. I mean, that joke, whenever, just so the audience knows, can I tell the joke you pulled on me? Would that be okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is after a few appointments with Mr. Fred, and you know, we work him up and do some testing and find out what's going on with him. And then on the day of the procedure, in the preoperative area, before the procedure, I go in and we're making small talk. And as soon as I walk in, I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing, Mr. Fred?" And he goes, "Who are you?" With this just blank look on his face. And it just took me by surprise. And the first thing I thought was, oh my goodness, Mr. Fred has had a massive stroke, and I panicked a little bit. And so he said he let me suffer for like 2 seconds, and then he said, I'm just kidding with you. But it was just such an epic joke. But anyway, the reason I mentioned that is he was just such a pleasure to take care of through the whole journey, and was just very happy that he got the outcome that he deserved.
It's a good thing you had a good heart, because the way I shocked you, you'd had a heart attack if you hadn't. I've never seen an expression like that before.
That was good.
But I've always been a jokester. I've played around even on all my jobs. If you can't laugh and have fun, you know, if you got to work with a brother just looking at you wanting to chop your head off, that's a bad place to work.
That's right.
That's
right.
Didn't you say that you just go right through the groin, and can you give me some insights and steps of what you do in the procedure?
Yeah, so I mean, the beauty of this procedure, which I think Mr. Fred would agree with, is it spares an open heart surgery, okay? Because that's the only alternative to this procedure would be another open heart surgery, which...
I know.
Right, yeah. Anyone who's been through it once doesn't want to go through it again, you know? And so for this particular procedure, the patient's totally asleep under general anesthesia, and we go through a puncture in the groin up to the heart. We are able to see inside the heart using specialized tools. One is called a TEE machine. And so we have one person who's able to look inside the heart while the other person works through the groin to find that leak and put a little plug in it.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's an interesting, very interesting technology.
Definitely, like with the whole structural heart program and everything like that, are there any insights you can give for structural heart and valvular disease in our program and how it's advancing, all these different procedures?
I think, I mean, we're just very lucky in Baton Rouge to have the setup that we have. So we have such a great team. Just all the diagnostic testing is streamlined. I think, you know, Mr. Fred would agree with that, just getting plugged in. And once you're plugged in, it's just this well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Diagnostic testing, all of the, you know, diagnostic procedures that we do. We have the team and the expertise, and then the tools also to do everything we need in-house. And so it's a great setup and allows us to serve folks in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas, you know, provide state-of-the-art care that, you know, otherwise we'd be sending folks out for, you know, to bigger tertiary centers, Houston, New Orleans, that sort of thing. But we can take care of the vast majority of stuff here in town.
Yeah, all close to home. And what would you say to patients, kind of like we spoke about earlier with Mr. Fred, what would you say to patients who might be unsure about getting checked, or maybe a proactive message to seeking care early and listening to their bodies, really?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Is if you feel like something is wrong, listen to your gut and get evaluated. We see it all the time where people kind of explain away their symptoms and sit on it for too long, and then it can lead, yeah, exactly, and it leads to irreversible complications a lot of times. And so get checked out. Being proactive with your health is huge, especially with your heart health these days. Just because you're seeing a cardiologist doesn't mean you're going to be subjected to, you know, invasive testing. We have non-invasive tests, you know, ultrasound machines that are just, you know, we can get a diagnosis 99% of the time without invasive testing. And so if you think something's wrong, you should be evaluated.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you feel well, I would say, you know, if you have risk factors for, you know, blocked arteries, that sort of thing, family history, all of these things, it usually behooves people to be evaluated, you know, before something goes wrong.
Right, and I mean, it's just amazing that, you know, you specialize in treating structural heart and valve disease, and you were able to really hone in on Fred's case and really zero in on that. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We hope today's conversation gave you helpful insights on your heart and vascular health. We believe prevention starts with awareness, learning what to look for and recognizing the small changes in your body over time can make a life-saving difference. If you have concerns or would like to share your story with us, visit cardio.com to learn more or request an appointment. Make sure to follow this podcast as well as CIS on social media for updates. Thanks for listening.